And I was just like, can you do it faster? There's missiles coming. And she's like, oh yeah. And she was just
Exactly,
talking.
right? My
She
wife is like
can't.
that also. Don't worry about it. I'm interrupting. My grandkids are out buying ice pops, and they're taking like 45 minutes. So of course I'm panicking. I mean, this is in the middle of the afternoon, by the way, right? It's not. It's hours before it actually
But
happened.
it wasn't, it just, no, because there were two folds. Like there was one where we knew, well, supposedly it was supposed to be like last time where it took them
Mm.
like 8 hours. I slept through the last one.
Right.
And then I don't watch the news. I just get like I read, stuff on the phone. I don't watch the news at all. And then
Uh-huh.
at 5, there it was okay, this is serious. And then
Right.
you feel the energy just kind of shift. I don't know how
Boom.
to explain it.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, I
crazy.
was
Crazy.
out and about. I was doing, there were errands that I did, I went to get a pedicure. I had to. And it's just, and I was like, I told her, I was like, maybe you should
Mm.
cancel, the next one. She's like, nah, it's gonna be okay, and I was like, okay, okay. But it was just, yeah. And then my mom called me panicking. She was just
But
like, go
because we've been
home
through this,
now.
but we've been through this so many times before. I mean, and each time it seemed like it was more and more dangerous. But I think this just is, I mean, April 14th, as you said, okay, we slept through it. I mean, they said 8 hours, and at 2:30 they woke us up. At quarter to two, they woke us up.
I
It
don't think
came
it's
early.
not this. It's not the same thing because yesterday there was a clear
Mm,
escalation in a matter of 2 hours.
mm,
I think that one we
mm,
kind of prepared ourselves for it. Here, from 4 to 5, you walked around at 4. I bought a bagel and everything was fine.
mm.
At 5, I was like, holy shit.
What happened between 4 and 5?
You just, they got, the Americans,
Oh, this is the American
apparently
set,
said,
right?
yeah, they
Right.
said that there is something happening and, you need to go home. And my mom called me and panicked. She was like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, and she's like, go home now. And I'm like, no, no. And she can't yell at me. I'm a grown woman, but I could tell, like I could
What?
feel it in her
Why is
voice.
that? Why does that? I mean, that's it's good that that works out in your family like that. But good, go ahead.
No, she
Yeah.
knows. But I could tell that she just wanted to yell at me to go home. But I was like, no, I'm
Mm.
finishing what I'm doing and then I'll go home. Even though I tried to kind of rush things, but I was just like, they're not going to control,
Does she call
my
you before
pace.
the your? Does she call you before your other siblings?
That's a great question. Well, we have a family WhatsApp, so it's like twofold. So again, it's like her, kind of
Uh,
relating. She thinks she's in the Shabak, so like she knows everything before everyone,
mm,
which is ridiculous. She
mm,
just kind of quotes stuff from Ynet, but whatever. So she's like, they're gonna attack that, and we're like, okay. And
mm, mm.
but the Chag Sameach thing was also prominent yesterday. People were not very responding very well. At the end, they did.
Enthusiastically.
It's just yeah, because I keep telling you, I'm like, I make it a point everywhere I go. I just say,
It's important.
Chag Sameach, and they're like, the sausage, and I'm like, no, let's just rejoice, small moments. And they're like, you're right. It's always about you're right. So it's
Mm.
just it was
Wait just a second.
and
But
then
just
that
to go back,
scared did
can
you
we just go? I wanted to go back in the timeline. Did you get like the message beforehand, like to go, that 12 minutes before?
I
Because we
got the
got
message when
messages.
I got home. Yeah. The phones
Uh-huh.
were like the government said like 2 months ago that they're
I
taking
didn't
over
know
all the
that.
phones. You didn't know
I
that?
didn't.
No.
I knew that, but I didn't remember it. So we
Okay, so
got
the
these
government
messages, and
said
every. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah.
no, it was in a way there's everybody's talking about how the message was so dramatic and the message to get
Right.
out after that was just like a subtle note. So the difference between those two were just crazy.
I
And
just
nobody
want to
knew
put.
when to step away from the miklat. We were all sitting there. And of course, the men
Mm,
just, the minute they didn't hear anything, they just left. And it was just us and my husband because I made
mm.
him. Because the first time he went up,
Not because he's
there
a
was another.
feminist, because you made him, because you made him. Just clear.
Well, I use that he's not listening. I use the excuse of, the kids are traumatized by it. They weren't. But I had to put some guilt into him so for him not to just kind of leave us and just go up to
Mm,
the stairs. My
right.
teenage son just did because I was just like, I can't control a teenager. I can maybe control my
Mm,
husband. But
mm.
and that's, debatable. But it was, that
Wasn't
message
it
was
kind of
pretty.
wasn't it kind of like summer campy? I mean, the whole country gets a message at the same time. No,
There was
no.
nothing, there was
I
nothing
always
funny about that. There
no,
was
I
nothing
no, but
summer campy about that. Not here anyway. It was
but
shocking.
let me just explain. No, I obviously was shocking. But I just mean the experience. There was nothing fun about it, but I don't think people understand really. It's the whole country. The whole country gets this message at the same time. If you're in the tri-state area, maybe you would get a hurricane warning for three states. But just the sense in which everybody in the country is doing the same thing, and we're all waiting. We're waiting for the head counselor to say you can go out now. That's what I meant.
Let me see. To us, this is the first time we've gotten that message, and
Mm.
everyone got that message. Just, immediately
But
go.
you always get the impression that I'm living in a different country. It's like to us here in Israel, you,
Well,
Bill.
it's you've gotten a taste in a way, but I think it was more because
Uh-huh.
it's missiles from Iran. It's a
Right.
different.
For
It's
sure. For sure.
different. It's more
For sure.
serious, and you're not sure if it's ballistic or
I
not. I
I
can't
felt I
believe that
fe-
I
I, fe-
actually know
I
the difference between
right,
ballistic
right.
missiles and not. That's just another conversation. But it's like I'm an army expert now. But the idea
You,
of just us
mm,
standing, it was kind of hilarious. And the miklat at the beginning, we were all just kind of shocked because it was longer
mm,
than usual.
mm.
Um, and
And you
people
heard the
were, and
constant
there was
booms.
also, there was a pigua, there was a terrorist attack
Right.
towards us, and people were talking about how it's always somebody who knows something. And there was a guy that was just like, I used to live there like 3 months ago, and everything, it's bubbling there, and you don't even understand. And this
Mm,
woman was just like, yeah, I work there too. So there was a really live conversation about Jaffa and Yaffa, what's happening there. So that was
mm,
an interesting,
mm,
because we couldn't, it's just, yeah, it wasn't.
mm. It's so strange because there were two kinds of dangers really for you. One, which is immediate, and people got killed, like 9 people got killed, right?
Yeah, horrible.
And
Did
the
you hear
other,
about that
this
woman?
threat, and this world threat, as you said, all these sirens, and there is a huge difference between us because I live in Jerusalem and we got a taste of it. I mean, I don't, so um, it was really, I think for us, my grandkids were there in the shelter, and that was hard. And for the first time, I felt fear a little bit.
Did you?
I mean,
Did you feel
I
fear?
felt fear because exactly what
Okay.
you felt. Because it's like, what is that? We don't know what's happening. We live near a reservoir. We live near the Jerusalem reservoir. Thinking if you're making a list of targets, that would be on it. You know. So whatever, we're all going through these crazy thought processes. And nothing is rational. I think what you said earlier about I don't know if I have exhaled yet. That really, I mean, we haven't.
Usually it's easy for me because I have that, like we said about the David Grossman quote, where
Mm,
we don't have the privilege of not being resilient. Like that's,
mm,
we can't.
mm,
So we just fight, we fight, we fight, we fight. But I think there was this fear that it's going to happen again during the night. So
mm,
that was also hovering.
mm,
My kids were like, do you think it's going to happen? And I'm like, no, let's just go sleep. It's going to be okay. And then there's also the element of this was this was different. This was different. This was scary. Like we were scared. So yeah. I mean, again, I think I want to reiterate the idea that it was an escalation of like 2 hours. It's just, it
mm.
wasn't.
What is your persona with your family in the miklat?
um this time it was different, because I think for the first time, my kids felt like it was serious. It wasn't, because usually the whole routine is you get a siren, you go down, you hear maybe a
Mm,
boom, and
mm,
then you just leave and go back to whatever, to your iPad at home. I let them. I'm like, whatever, disconnect from the world. It's okay. You know. But this time it was longer, and it was also really hot in the miklat, in
and
the
there was
bomb
more,
shelter.
was there was more than one boom. I mean, we heard series of booms constantly.
We did too. We heard a lot. And it's funny how you get information. It's like everybody is as a news commentator in the miklat. I don't know what it's like with you. So everybody's on their phone and everybody's giving each other
Right.
information.
Right,
Like,
right,
this
right.
is
Which is all
happening here. This
somehow
is
it's all
happening here.
collectively it's all false, right?
No, it's not false, but it's just like, my cousin is a soldier in da da da, and she's saying this
Mm,
and da da, and
mm,
so you have people who have this network, like I have my
I
network.
see.
So everybody's kind of trying to relate what they know to kind of fill in the puzzle, which is really interesting. So you're like, and then we were joking about how the safest place right now is in the Otefaza, which is, it's the only green area on the map. It's really the safest place
It's
near
crazy.
Gaza. So it doesn't. I think I'm still kind of, and I
Mm.
usually have this amazing ability to just kind of shut off and just go back to real life. I think we're kind of shaken up. Um,
And
but I'm
I
still
mean,
gonna go have coffee. God damn it. Outside with people.
yeah, well now I mean it's a safe time now. I mean, nothing's going to happen now, do we think? I mean,
Really?
oh, I don't know. The guy in McCullough, um, he was saying that Israel likes to strike on holidays because it's not bad for the economy. I know it's one of these things, you know.
Everybody,
They-
like you said, it's crazy how everyone has
right.
this point of view. I mean, yeah, but it's I don't know. We're all just, I mean, and especially because there was also, while we're sitting in our bomb shelters, there
Mm,
was a rumor that there was another terrorist attack in a hotel in Herzliya. So that was also, we were just
mm,
like, shit. Oh, another thing is happening. Like maybe this is like all orchestrated.
mm.
So what do we? So there were like, a few ups and downs inside the miklat. And this girl was just like, and there were two dogs that were fighting with each other. And there was this girl, and we were all hot. And my daughter was just like, maybe we'll get fans. And this woman was just like, I'll bring 20. I have some at home, so I'll bring it next time. So
Right, next
there's
time. We'll see you next time. We talked about next
so
time
there's a
also.
sense of
Right.
like, it's in a way, it's a sense of almost like we're all commiserating there. Um,
Mm.
and nobody said F baby. There was nobody, like it wasn't, it's funny how we're just kind of like, let's try to
Why,
survive
why,
this.
so why was that in place, the self-censoring of FBB?
Because it's not the issue now. I think we were talking about this. I was talking with my friend, is we really believe that no matter who was in charge now, whether it was the
Mm,
opposition or the current government, they'll do the same thing. There's like almost like an acceptance that it's not like it's going to be
mm.
different. Whomever is on top, they're going to take the same actions. Left wing, right
Does that,
wing.
and that reflects, I mean, obviously, I think that's something that people really don't understand outside of Israel, is that there's this implicit consensus. I would say, and for me, I trust this abstract thing called the generals. I believe in them. And every time I
Do
see
you?
one on TV, every time I see one on TV, I'm like, okay, he seems serious, right?
I think if you look at the Ramatkal, Herzi,
Mm, mm,
I think I feel so bad for him. Like there's the
mm,
talk about carrying this amount of guilt
mm,
around you and just be known for the rest of your life as that person who was in charge when October 7th happened. And then he's trying, and I'm sure he doesn't sleep. Like that's, he's his mission, his life mission right now is just is to do and to work. And I do trust that, but it also just raises questions about um,
mm.
where were you? What happened? Like, how is that possible? It's just there's so many questions that we're not asking now because again, we do not have the privilege of just stopping and reflecting and just drawing conclusions and just, saying, okay, let's do this, and let's not do this, let's just, but it's yeah, yesterday was in Jerusalem. Yeah, I saw the pictures that you sent. Those are like, whoa, that's
That
I'm not
that
used to that.
picture of my granddaughter. Um, so she's on the phone with her father, and she's crying or near tears, but she's also holding her niece. And I just thought,
But why is she in tears? Like there are no
She was
tears
frightened. She was
in.
scared. They were scared. She was scared.
Is it because you're not? I mean, I'm thinking my kids were my Lily, my daughter, was with her phone
Mm.
and she was just playing whatever
Yeah,
shit she's
they're
playing
more
on phone.
because they've never had
Yeah.
their memories. They were with us on October 7th, so their memories of that miklat are October 7th and last night.
And now I see.
Yeah,
Okay. So that's
yeah,
my children are totally cool. They're just kind
yeah.
of,
Because and for them, they just even though you knew it was different, they just assimilated it into their experience. I guess until you were there for a longer amount of time.
it's yeah, I mean, I was a bit like I felt at a certain point I was not
Mm,
doing a good job of
mm,
not being, it's not panic, but I really wanted to know what was happening. So they would talk to me and I'm like, just
mm.
hold on. I just need to check on, on my phone. And that to me
Right.
just kind of it translated for them that something was happening because I wasn't able to really be
Mm,
with them.
mm.
But it was so what's next? I can't deal with
Mm.
this. It's just like every day, something else, something else, something else.
I think that's another thing, and we keep on saying this. It's like every week something absolutely horrible happens, and we think, how are we going to keep on going? And then the next week something else happens, and then 2 weeks later, and then we can't even remember what happened 2 weeks ago because this is so bad.
I'm hoping this also, if I'm trying to be optimistic, I'm hoping
Mm,
this
mm.
it will change something. I'm not even sure how I
Mm.
can be
You know,
optimistic, but but
I will be optimistic. Um, just that picture, which I took it. There were a lot of pictures being taken in the miklat, um, and I just thought that image of my granddaughter, and she's on the phone with her father. Her father's an amazing guy, and he's talking to her in a way that she can hear him, and she's just holding onto that baby. And I thought, I mean, to me, this is resilience. And in the Aeneid, the hero of the story, Aeneas, leaves Troy carrying his father Anchises and his son Astyanax, which is correctly pronounced in the new program Chaos. Um, and they're walking into the future, and there are no women in that picture, right? I just thought, right, and that's Rome. But here, it's like the father on the phone, and the daughter, and her niece, and it's like she's holding on tight to the future. You know what? That just that moves me.
you're doing the Chag as usual, like there's
Yeah,
no trans. Yeah.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
that's optimistic. That's because there was talk of like yesterday in my family. It was like, should we, shouldn't we? Da, 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 da.
Mm.
And then today I was just like, yeah,
Oh
we'll probably,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure, for sure.
I
Yeah,
don't, yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess it's just trying to. I mean, there was
yeah. No,
a
listen. Even as I would just had this experience that we talk about. Like I tweeted last night, everything's back to normal. When we left the thing, like, of course not, right? And when I just told that story about my granddaughter, I connected with the part of me which is like 2 seconds away from like having a nervous breakdown. So it's like you go close and then you have to pull back. And I think and you do this, we pull back for other people as well, because we know people are looking at us. And I think it's like being a teacher. You're like, okay, I'm teaching now, so it's not about me.
yeah, there was a clothing sale I wanted to go today, and
I'm, okay, good. All
that's
right,
the ultimate
this is good.
sacrifice. That's just,
It's good.
I mean,
All
I
right, good.
really debated
Yeah.
that. I was just like, whoa. I mean, yeah, I'm
But
still debating.
that's exactly that is exactly what I was just talking about, right? Go to the clothing sale, you know.
Some really nice pants that I wanted, but yeah, I don't, yeah, cooking, just trying to be with my family, bring tons of alcohol. Um, I'm gonna
Yes,
buy some vinyls. I'm gonna spend some money today. I know it's
good.
very shallow, but it's almost like it's in
Hmm.
a way, it's like you're getting control back on your life. You're like, okay, I'm this person. Um, I can do stuff. I can live. It's not even, maybe I'm just
Also,
trying to justify my shallowness, but
no, 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 no.
there's
It's
this
I can get
control.
I can get pleasure from something, and I can for me, it's like I'll listen to a symphony, and I'm like, And that also requires a certain kind of attention and control and not going other places. And also just the ability to have fun and get pleasure. We still are human and we're allowed to do that. Our survivor's guilt is so strong, we think we're not allowed to do that. We are allowed to do that. As you said, we have to.